One thing I am guilty of on the Line 6 Helix is overlooking the legacy effects, and I did just that again in Firmware 3.15, and I can't believe I missed this really fabulous effect, which is called the bubble echo. So today we're going to be taking a look at this, otherwise I guess we could say hidden feature or hidden effects block that we have in the Helix, and there's a lot of real gems hidden within the legacy effects that I really need to do better at diving into and paying more attention to. So today we're going to take a look at this really cool little delay called the bubble echo. So let's head over to HX Edit and take a look and see what it's all about. First and foremost, what is the bubble echo? Well, let's go over to the release notes and get the description right from the folks who created it. So it says the bubble echo has a sample and hold filter on the repeats. It takes a filter sweep like the one on Sweep Echo, chops it up into little bits, and rearranges them semi-randomly so that it sounds like sudden little bits of wah pedal randomly sprinkled about. Well, that sounds very interesting, so let's take a look and see exactly what we have here. So starting off, I just have a little preset based around the Matchstick Channel 1, my normal little preset template that I use. I have a reverb here I'm going to turn on after. I just want to kind of focus on the bubble echo. So if we turn this on, we see that we have note sync or time, just like we do on most delays. We have feedback, like we have on most delays. We have speed and depth, which is going to control the effect that we just described from the release notes on the delayed repeat. So we'll have to kind of take a listen to what that does. And we have a mix control. So note sync, very, very basic. That's going to be the time before we get our repeats starting. We can set that to note sync and have it as half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, and have it tied to our tempo, or we could just set it in milliseconds. I'm a big fan of setting all my delays to note sync. We have the feedback, which is going to be the number of repeats we get after. So lower settings, we're going to get less repeats. Higher settings, we're going to get more. The speed and the depth is kind of like most modulation effects. We're going to just basically dive in and see exactly what these do in a moment. And we have the mix control, which is going to give us the overall balance between our dry signal and our wet affected signal. The level is just simply the output level, and we have trails on or off. So that if we, for instance, switch snapshots, the delayed repeats will continue if we have trails on. If we turn them off, they'll stop as soon as we switch to another snapshot. So let's do this. Let's bring up the mix control to around 50%. Let's just sort of see what the bubble echo does at these settings. Now, as you can hear, we have a pretty high feedback setting. I'm going to dial that back just a little bit. Let's bring the mix all the way up just so we hear nothing but the repeats. So pretty interesting. We hear some really interesting things happening on our delayed repeats. Let's do this. We'll bring in a little bit more of the direct signal. We'll keep our feedback kind of high just so we can hear those repeats and what the speed and the depth do. So let's explore the speed and the depth. Let's do this. Let's go both on 0. So pretty interesting what it does to those delayed repeats. Obviously, the speed and the depth and whatever is happening to affect the feedback or the delayed repeats is not happening to our direct signal. Let's bring that depth all the way up. So we can see we could have some pretty interesting sound design special effect possibilities here. We'll bring the depth all the way down and we'll bring the speed all the way up. As is to be expected, we brought the depth down, so we're not going to get as much of that effect on it. But let's max them both out. I almost feel like with extreme settings like that would be very cool. There's a high feedback, speed and depth very high, and then just take your mix all the way up to 100% to get rid of any of that dry signal so we can just get this special effect creation type of a thing. So we can really see the feedback, speed, and depth when they're kind of up to their higher levels, maxed out on the speed and depth, get rid of the dry signal. We can really get some interesting effects. And I think also by manipulating the time control, we could get some pretty interesting things going on. These are the type of effects you'd really want to experiment with a lot because they're kind of unpredictable, but in a very cool way. So as we can see, for sound design or getting some pretty special effect type sounds, this could be a very cool tool. But what happens if we deal with it more in a subtle way? Let's see what we could do here. I'm going to change this back to note sync and maybe get it down to a half note. Bring the feedback up, maybe up around, I don't know, 80%. Bring my speed down and my depth way up, but I'm going to mix the dry signal back in. Let's just listen to what this does. I'm going to take that, but I'm going to bring it all the way back to just blend it in with the dry signal. So it just gives us a little floor of kind of random echoed repeats, but I'm going to come in now and bring in a dynamic hall reverb to give me a nice lush sound. So we can see by blending those really crazy delayed repeats we were getting before, by blending them in underneath, mixing it with like the dynamic hall reverb with a big lush sound, we can have some pretty subtle and beautiful effects that could be really nice for a solo performance or more of an atmospheric type sound. So this is a very, very cool delay. And again, I can't believe that I missed it. So there you have it, a very quick look at what I think is a very cool addition with our Firmware 3.15, the bubble echo, but you might have a hard time finding it if, like me, you don't oftentimes go searching through the legacy effects folder. So I think that should be a lesson to me and to anybody who is guilty of the same thing as I am, that we really shouldn't discount these legacy effects. There's some very interesting effects blocks hidden within those and well worth exploring. So I hope you enjoyed that quick look at this delay and understand a little bit more and understand what its capabilities are. And maybe it's just another tool to help you attain your musical creativity goals. So I hope that that was helpful. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody who you think would get some use out of watching it. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell notification below to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Ciao for now.